Drop all your interactions, all your relationships, everything, all the connections you have ever had, anything that could define you as what you think you are. Now who are you? So welcome to this evening in which we dedicate all our energy to awaken and develop the quality of confidence. Awaken because as the whole principle of our quality evenings states that we have it in us. We have these qualities as capacities.
Yeah, it's for you.
As capacities that just need reminding, but also developing, because with qualities, if we want them there when we need them, then they need to be cultivated exactly at those moments when we feel that we cannot possibly have them, you see? So, confidence is quite a quality, right? Anyone would mind some more confidence? Would resist? You can see here in this postcard the image that we picked for confidence. It is a rather happy woman standing in the midst of a crowd that observes her with a questioning mind, doubting her. And she is able to look inside and find not the question mark, but the exclamation mark. The core knowing. This image is going to accompany us throughout the evening. To see if we can, at the end of this evening, stand with this silent smile in the midst of a crowd, whether real or imaginary. Because doubts are like the imaginary crowd that we have within our mind, right? So we will deal with this crowd very soon when we start our experiential journey. And the quote says, confidence does not mean that you know for sure
asked for a post.
I'm sorry?
Philip asked for a postcard.
So it says, confidence does not mean that you know for sure that what you do cannot be a mistake. It is rather when you know without a doubt the purity of intention, authenticity of choice, and beauty of motivation that drive you to do what you do. So this is our journey to reach this kind of confidence. And before we will start, I will tell you a story. Many years ago, I used to be a journalist. I used to be not only interviewing people, but also writing columns about even politics. Yes, I was invited to write about my political views, which when I was very young, like when in my adolescent years, I was very proud of my political views and convictions. And then what happened was that I started publishing political views, of course mixed with some spiritual perspective. And each time I wrote some column, of course it was also on the internet. Then I scrolled down and started reading the comments. And to my disappointment, all the objecting comments were true. You see, I would just read them and think, oh my God, they are completely right. And probably my strong conviction, the one that I wrote down with such confidence, is just a perspective. And that was very embarrassing, so I tried a few more times to do that. But at a certain point, I realized that anything that I could say with full conviction could be contradicted in a way that might even convince me. You see? Now, some of us have this half curse, half blessing to be able to always see things from different perspectives. Some of us are more strict and more fixed in their one perspective, but some are more flexible. And when we are flexible, we realize that many of our so-called convictions are, well, if we are really honest, they cannot even convince us at a certain point, at certain times. But the fact that many things can be doubted, and actually, mentally speaking, everything can be doubted, and this is our problem. The quality of confidence helps us to still be able to follow through our inner convictions. So how to do that when mentally speaking, everything can be doubted? This is a good question, right? And some of us are so, their minds are so crowded with doubts that often we are simply unable to do anything because of it. It's so self-defeating, it's so overpowering that eventually we find ourselves unable to take even one step further. So to change your political views from time to time, or to be convinced otherwise, can be even a sort of a virtue. But to give doubt too much space, it can be truly self-defeating. Do you remember, for those of you who were here in our night of independence, I spoke of two types of independence. You remember? The silly independence and the wise or real independence. Now, because confidence and independence, they have quite some correlation between them, we can also speak here tonight of silly confidence and wise confidence. So silly confidence is when we suffer from overconfidence. Overconfidence is this amazing capacity of some people to be completely sure that what they do cannot be a mistake. You see? When you doubt someone's action and in the past or in the future, then this person would say, I know that what I'm doing is 100% right, this cannot be a mistake. This person you can easily doubt, because many of our actions in the past that we follow through with great conviction, I'm sure that now in an older phase, we look at them and some of them we reconsider as a sort of mistake, or at least a form of ignorance, right? Isn't it? Some of the things we did with great enthusiasm and belief and silly overconfidence, in retrospective, we'll look at it and say, okay, that was childish. All the types of the moments when we fell in love and we were sure that this was the right person. Or the times in which we defended something that we believed was true, and eventually, perhaps even at that moment, we knew deep down that it wasn't perhaps so true. Then we gave others the pleasure of telling us, I told you so. So, silly overconfidence is when we are sure that our actions are impeccable. There cannot be any mistake, and therefore there cannot be any doubt. In silly overconfidence, we do not listen to anyone who tries to give us advice. We push away even the voice inside, anything that seems like doubt. We just suppress it. The other extreme of it is endless self-checking. That which we just mentioned before. It's everything is doubted constantly. Perhaps I did wrong. Perhaps I might do wrong. But can you see that it comes from the very same root? Either convinced that we cannot make a mistake, or fearing terribly that we might make a mistake. Now, since mistakes are just a matter of judgment, we don't even know if what we did was a mistake or what we will do could be considered a mistake. There is another type of confidence that is the wise confidence. The one that is described here in this postcard. It's a confidence that takes into account that it's possible that we would make a mistake. Perhaps the action itself is going to be discovered as even stupid. But what we don't doubt is our own authenticity. Is our own pure intention. Is our own faithfulness to what we know as and recognize as our deeper core. So when we have this sense of a deeper core and authentic drive, then this is what we can trust, you see? This part in us, and not actions, which even us might one day think were perhaps not completely wise. Now, when we are in these two extremes of endless self-checking or extreme overconfidence, there is some kind of an indication that we are in either or. And the indication is that we feel we all the time need to defend ourselves or convince others. There's always some urgency in making others see what we see. Making sure that we defend ourselves properly from any kind of criticism, any kind of doubt. In this middle point, we don't defend ourselves. We don't need to push away doubt. We are able to give doubt some room because it's true. Yes, perhaps we will discover that we have taken the completely wrong direction eventually. Who cares? Do you follow? Who cares? This is what I am, and this is what I know. This is as far as I can tell my reality, my wisdom. So that's it. Can you defend that? Would you convince others? You see, it's so intimate, so grounded in your core, that it becomes not some waving with your conviction, but more a silent strength. And with this, in this silent strength, you also move forward with doubt. You don't need to make sure 100%. You just move forward. You take the doubt with you if it wants to follow. But what remains unshaken is something much deeper. How to awaken this deeper place is what we want to do today. It is a place that is deeper than thoughts, you see? Because thoughts are always in these extremes, in these two extremes. Thoughts are always either overconfident, shouting at our doubts to be quiet, to not interfere, or they are immersed in this endless self-checking. Maybe I should do that. Wait, if I think from another perspective, then the crowd that we're trying to push away, for example, parents, society, friends, partners, they only seem like they are external. Really, we create them, you see. As reflections of our own endless self-checking. So what we're doing today is actually an invitation to getting very intimate with ourselves. Very far away from the crowd, including our own crowd, the crowd that we always walk with, even when we are completely alone. So here you see how independence and confidence, they walk hand in hand. And you know when the best moments to develop this kind of real confidence are? It is exactly when doubts flood us. In the most extreme moments of confusion, when we really don't know what is real anymore, these are the best moments. You see, this is why real confidence is not afraid of doubt. It uses these moments, these times, these storms of doubts to find this inner core. So when we begin to see in times of confusion the best opportunity, we don't try to be confident. We don't try to be sure. Then we realize that these storms of confusion, they are the best cleansers in the world. They are like vacuum cleaners. They come and they clear away all the overconfidence, all that which we don't really need, and they force us to get in touch with something deeper, with something that our thought cannot touch. This is this, you see. This is not really an external situation. We sometimes express anger when other people doubt us. There are no people who doubt us. They appear within our own projection to help us make sure we know, you see? Make sure we have a core. So there are no enemies to push away. Both our doubts from the inside and from the outside, they are the greatest helpers. If you begin to look at it like this, then you are on the right way towards real confidence. So I'm feeling your third chakra already preparing. So are you ready?